Modern technological warfare does not merely rewrite the rules of combat, it ruthlessly obliterates outdated notions of military might, linear tactics, and strategic invulnerability. What is unfolding today in the Ukrainian skies stands as the greatest intellectual and engineering triumph of our nation. Born in volunteer laboratories and hardened in the flames of brutal daily battles, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have transformed into the primary instrument of geopolitical and military retribution. They have forged an entirely new reality, where the multi-million-dollar armies of the occupiers, trapped within a transparent digital matrix, find themselves utterly helpless against the surgical precision and relentless logic of artificial intelligence. These are Ukrainian drones, and second by second, they are methodically destroying the financial, logistical, and psychological foundations of the enemy empire, incinerating invaders across every hot sector of the front line and in the deepest, previously secure rear areas of the aggressor state. The days of June 2026 have demonstrated to the entire world that the concept of a deep rear no longer exists for Russia. The unmanned systems forces of Ukraine have officially expanded the geography of retribution across thousands of kilometers, launching an epic new phase of the aerial war. A series of lightning-fast, coordinated, long-range kamikaze drone strikes on naval bases, airfields, and strategic enterprises of the oil and gas industry in St. Petersburg, the Leningrad, Yaroslavl, and Nizhny Novgorod regions has proven the absolute failure of the Russian air defense system. When Ukrainian drones pierce through dense electronic barriers, cover immense distances, and precisely strike warships of the Baltic Fleet directly inside the dry docks of Kronstadt or blow up the technological hearts of oil refining giants, they deal an irreparable blow to the occupiers. Disabling unique distillation columns, which Russia cannot replace due to strict international sanctions, triggers a chain reaction of economic paralysis. This is not just the destruction of infrastructure, it is the direct bleeding dry of the enemy army, as the fuel arteries meant to feed tanks and aircraft on the front line are turned into charred ruins right at their production sites. This powerful strategic pressure instantly translates into the absolute tactical isolation of the occupying forces along the line of contact. In the heaviest and hottest sectors of the front, from Vovchansk and Kupiansk to Chasiv Yar, Toretsk, Pokrovsk, and the southern steppes of Zaporizhzhia, Ukrainian drones have established a continuous barrier of logistical denial. Not a single movement of enemy equipment, nor any attempt to resupply ammunition or provisions, goes unnoticed. Medium-range drones have secured a total fire blockade of overland routes, turning the enemy's logistics into a deadly lottery. Russian units have been forced to completely abandon classic supply columns, switching to light, maneuverable transport, dirt bikes, ATVs, and civilian SUVs, attempting to dash through Ukrainian death zones in small groups. However, Ukrainian FPV drones have adapted to this shift instantly. These high-speed guided projectiles, bound to the will of pilots wearing digital goggles, operate as tools of absolute precision. They chase down assault troops at maximum speed, pierce protective netting, fly directly into the open hatches of armored vehicles, and masterfully neutralize enemy infantry right inside the narrow entrances of underground dugouts. Behind the scenes of these spectacular strikes lies a fierce, quiet, and incredibly intense war of engineering intellect within the radio airwaves. When the occupiers poured colossal financial and scientific resources into deploying electronic warfare systems, attempting to jam control frequencies and suppress the satellite navigation of our aircraft, the Ukrainian defense industrial complex responded by implementing revolutionary autonomy technologies. The battlefield witnessed a massive transition to smart drones integrated with computer vision and artificial intelligence algorithms. This technological innovation has permanently altered the nature of aerial attacks. Now, An operator only needs to fly the drone into the target area and lock onto the object in the crosshairs. The moment the drone's neural network captures the silhouette of an enemy tank, truck, or dugout, the machine transitions into full autopilot. Even if the most powerful Russian EW complexes completely burn out the radio airwaves, sever the video link, and the pilot loses the feed a kilometer away from the target, the drone's internal processor independently continues to analyze the visual data stream, corrects the flight path using artificial vision, and inevitably drives the strike home to destroy the target. Parallel to the development of artificial intelligence, Ukrainian units are paralyzing the enemy using innovative drones operating on fiber optic communication lines. These unique devices unroll an ultra-thin physical glass cable behind them directly during flight. Because the control signals and pristine, high-definition video are transmitted via optical fiber rather than radio waves, these drones possess absolute immunity against any electronic interference or jammers. They smoothly and unhindered overcome the adversary's densest electronic domes, flying deep into the rear of enemy fortifications to completely obliterate camouflaged command posts, communication hubs, and the positions of enemy drone operators. Furthermore, the struggle for airspace has permanently evolved into full-scale aerial duels for absolute dominance in the micro-sky. Ukrainian interceptor drones have turned the hunting of Russian reconnaissance wings, such as the Orlan, Zala, or Supercam, into a systematic, high-tech art. By downing these hostile eyes at altitudes of several kilometers, Ukrainian birds completely blind the invader's artillery, depriving it of the ability to adjust strikes against our defenders on the ground. A recent case in the Avdiivka area perfectly demonstrated the incredible ingenuity, patience, and tactical flexibility of Ukrainian crews. Operators of a reconnaissance quadcopter spotted a massive pile of Russian anti-tank mines hidden in the brush near a road, which the occupiers had prepared for rapid mining operations to block Ukrainian maneuver groups. A Ukrainian drone equipped with dropped munitions immediately took off to eliminate the threat. The first 2 grenade drops failed to trigger a detonation of the heavy engineering munitions, but the pilots did not back down. Armed with their final charge, the crew displayed ultimate precision. The 3rd grenade struck the arsenal's vulnerable sweet spot exactly, triggering a colossal blast of unimaginable power. The shockwave was so massive that it shook the drone high in the sky, while the enemy's mountain of mines, along with the surrounding positions, transformed into a gigantic pillar of smoke and ash. This is a classic demonstration of how a single, low-cost drone can eliminate a strategic threat to an entire tank battalion before the enemy even has a chance to deploy their traps on the roads. This entire titanic, deeply integrated air fleet operates as a single, flawlessly tuned mechanism, where each type of device fulfills its strictly defined mission within the collective system of digital defense. And the core, fundamental philosophy of this approach is that iron must fight, work, and die instead of humans. Ukraine is resisting a brutal, cynical aggressor that possesses a massive mobilization resource and absolutely does not value the lives of its own soldiers, ruthlessly throwing waves of infantry into regular meat scooter and foot assaults every day just to capture a few meters of artillery-shattered ruins. Our nation cannot and will not fight in such a manner, burning the lives of its best sons and daughters in the fires of a grueling industrial slaughter. Technological excellence and intellectual superiority are our single, alternative free path to preserving the nation and securing a just victory. Every ground robotic complex that, under blistering fire or in the dense morning fog, evacuates a wounded warrior from the front line. Every automated machine gun turret that independently holds back an enemy onslaught at a ruined strongpoint, and every Ukrainian FPV drone that turns another enemy tank into scrap metal is a saved, protected, and preserved life of a Ukrainian soldier. These iron birds and ground platforms take the heaviest, most brutal blow of this war upon themselves. They protect our most valuable, most precious treasure, our people. They provide unwavering confidence that the warriors holding the line today across the most challenging directions of the front will be able to return home, hug their families, and rebuild a free, strong, and sovereign state. Ukrainian drones have permanently inscribed their names into the history of global military science, proving to all of humanity that the future belongs not to brute mass, but to brilliant engineering thought, continuous innovation, and the unyielding courage of those who confidently hold the controls of the sky in their hands. The sky belongs to the innovators. The sky belongs to the defenders.